again. Journalists in Italy have received death threats over their coverage of a mafia boss's lavish funeral in Rome, sparking public anger over alleged connections between city officials and criminal clans. Here's what happened to one reporter.
No, ma io soltanto... Non mi state telecamere perché... No, posa la telecamera. Poi la posto, però non mi potete... No, no, io taccino proprio. Leva la cosa, leva la telecamera. La posto. Scusate. Però io me ne vado. No,
Well, the conference took place in Naples after Alessio Biscardi went to the place from where a helicopter that took part of the ceremony had just taken off from. The chopper's flyover was one of a number of things that made the extravagant funeral look more like a Hollywood movie. Theme music from The Godfather there, also a golden carriage drawn by 6 horses, hundreds of tearful mourners and a banner on a church saying Vittorio Casamonica, the late head of the powerful Italian crime clan, will conquer paradise. We spoke to the journalist who was threatened at their helicopter takeoff site.
I was searching the airfield where the helicopter that flies over Casamonica's funeral has taken off. I found it in Terzigno, a little city near Naples. I started to recording a video. Meanwhile, I was there. A car is come and 4 men had surrounded me, and they said, "We'll kill you. Stop shooting." They wanted I erase the video about their field, but I cheated them and I have erased the oldest one. After that, they took my personal document to see my personal address, my address of home. After that, they let me go.
In another case, a TV crew filming in the vicinity of the gangster's family residence was threatened with being beaten and killed. Well, the mayor of Naples now, which is home to a number of crime families, has supported Biscardi, saying that threats to journalists are unacceptable. The journalist himself says that despite authorities bringing many criminal clans to justice, other mafia families have simply filled the power vacuum.
Police had stopped other criminal clans in Rome. And now Casamonica wants to have more power in Rome. The funeral was the image of power of mafia, and they show everyone the power of Casamonica's clan.
Checking out our website, dramatic surveillance video of this. Now look closely what happens here. A sinkhole swallowing 4 people there they go, at a bus stop in China. Luckily, despite what you're seeing there, they only suffered minor injuries. Got more of those pictures you want to see more close up. Also, too, a British lawmaker stirs up the sex discrimination debate for suggesting that women-only train carriages should be brought in to reduce levels of harassment. What do you think about that? Well, you can comment on all our stories on our site, rt.com. Fresh rallies gripped Lebanon's capital again Wednesday, marking a 5th consecutive day of anti-government protests there. People in Beirut first hit the streets in anger over a breakdown in garbage collection, but that frustration quickly escalated into calls for the government to step down. Here's how it all unfolded. The concrete wall around the building was immediately mocked by the protesters, and the government then took it down again. After that, activists returned to the site. Our Middle East correspondent Paula Sleer spoke to some of the organisers of the latest rally.
This is a social protest that has all the markings of becoming an anti-government riot, like we saw in other countries during the Arab Spring. Now, Hassan Shukr is one of the organisers. Do you think that this could become like the Arab Spring in Libya and Syria?
We don't like to be like Syria or Libya or Iraq, but we would like this government to go out from our country.
Well, the garbage has been collecting on the streets of Beirut for days now. Hani, as one of the organisers of this protest, Are you not concerned it will be hijacked by other groups?
Well, actually, I am concerned. The protests are already being infiltrated by some people. Some of them are being paid by some political parties, but most of the people are just angry. Some external powers like Amerika, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Syria, Turkey will actually do something at some point.
Where is this going to end?
Either change or depression or chaos.
Well, certainly the atmosphere on the streets is very volatile. Many people do feel this is a new Lebanon, but what exactly that means remains to be seen. Paul Islier, RT, Beirut.
Lebanon has 18 officially recognised religious sects, which makes the political balance extremely fragile. And with the war in Syria next door and the growing influence of ISIL, instability in Lebanon could quickly spill into a full-scale civil war. That's the view, indeed, of Middle East Studies Professor Nada Hashemi.
If the situation continues to deteriorate, the government breaks down, the protests turn violent, then yes, I think there's a very dangerous possibility of a civil war breaking out in Lebanon. There are a lot of these terrorist groups informed by a Salafi jihadi sort of narrative that are present on the Syrian side of the border. They also have a presence in Lebanon. They could take advantage of any political vacuum that might emerge if the government, as weak as it is in Lebanon, starts to crumble. Approximately a quarter of Lebanon's population now is made up of Syrian refugees. They are a destabilizing element. They complicate the internal politics. The factors are there, both domestically and regionally, that can set this country aflame very quickly.
Tracking Typhoon Goni next. It's killed dozens of people in the Philippines. Now it's been downgraded to a cyclone on its way through Russia. No major damage reported in the country's far east, although several villages were affected by flooding. Locals in the region's biggest city, Vladivostok, made the best of the bad weather. How? Well, true Russian style, to the amazement of passers-by. Some tied wakeboards to the cars and enjoyed the waves right on the roads. Others went even further and took to air mattresses, turning the city's streets into a slightly grim seaside resort. I say slightly grim because you can see the colour of the water. Their cyclone has now moved to China. Hopefully won't cause too many more problems. In other world news, several hundred members of the human rights group Jewish Voices for Peace have marched in New York to mark a year since Israel's war on Gaza. They demanded Israel and its ongoing blockade of the Palestinian territory and for the US to stop providing military support. The group's known for its strong opposition against the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza. Riots in India's Gujarat province flared up after the arrest of a caste equality campaigner. At least 9 people have died because of all the trouble over that. Activist Hardik Patel, who's attracted millions of supporters, was detained after a massive rally where he said access to education and jobs were being denied to members of his caste in society. 5,000 soldiers were deployed to try and calm the ensuing unrest. Max and Stacey here after the break. They're in Florida, in fact, looking at the BP oil spill settlement and why fracking seems to be falling out of favour these days.